Hey, if you're watching me in the shower right now, then it's your lucky day because I'm going to show you how to re-caulk one of these. This is a super easy DIY job. You can definitely handle this on your own. But I'm going to show you some tips and tricks because I see people do this all the time and they botch it. They botch it by fat fingering the silicone caulk, smearing it all over the place, putting caulking where grout should be, or grout where caulking should be, or caulk where nothing should be. And I'm going to show you some easy tricks so that you get a really nice, confident looking caulking job in your shower enclosure that will last you a very long time. All right, super easy. Only tools you're gonna need for this job is a couple razor blades, a nice caulking gun, some caulking of course, some paper towel, and definitely the most important thing, ammonia-free glass cleaner. Stick around to the end of the video and you will see why that is the most important tool that you're gonna need for this job. Tip number one, grout where grout's supposed to be and caulk where caulk's supposed to be. So in a shower, you've got flat planes, you've got corners, and you've got planes where you have different materials, tile meeting to plastic, tile meeting to metal. Where does the grout go and where does the caulking go? Here's the easy answer. Pretty much grout only goes on a flat surface with like material. So tile to tile, flat surface. That's your field, that's your walls. Anywhere that you have a corner, you're gonna have expansion and contraction. Caulk it. It needs to be flexible. Caulk it in the corners on your soap dishes. Caulk it anywhere that you have a transition from tile to plastic or tile to any other material, tile to metal. Caulk it. Grout only goes on flat planes, tile to tile, period. If you choose to put grout in your corners, you're gonna end up with something like this where it totally chips. Now I did take my knife to it a little bit, but it was already cracked and chipping out and moisture gets in there because that grout is solid. It cannot handle the movement of the corner of the shower. So that's why it's so important that you caulk the corners. Do not grout it like the person did in this shower before me. Tip number two, if you have got a plastic shower pan, okay, this is an acrylic plastic shower pan with a tile enclosure, you most likely have in your corners these little divots, and you might be wondering what these are for. These are weep holes. These are very important. This is to allow any moisture that gets behind the wall, behind the tile, to hit this pan and it can weep out. If you fill this with caulking like the person did before me, any moisture that gets behind this wall has no way to get out. So we're gonna cut all this caulking out. I already did it on this side. We're gonna cut it all out, and then when we re-caulk this, we're gonna caulk it from here over, and we'll caulk just the top of this, but we wanna leave the bottom of this open so moisture gets out. Cutting out the old caulking if you're doing a redo job. If it's a brand new job, obviously you don't need to do this, but pretty simple. I just use a couple razor blades, a flat one and a regular one. And you just get underneath that caulk nice and careful and start cutting it out. And if it was applied poorly, it'll probably just peel right out pretty simply. I'm just gonna dig it all out. There you go. That's that weep hole nice and dug out like it's supposed to be. Tip number three, if you have a metal frame for a glass door on your shower, you're going to want to caulk it. So the person before me never caulked it. You see that gap there? And I guarantee this is disgusting under here. Let's see what we can find. Let's see. Let's put this paper towel. I guarantee water gets under here every time they shower and it never comes out. Oh yeah, look at that. Disgusting crud under that shower. Let's see, let's try this other side. Look at that. That's why you want to caulk your shower doors. Tip number four, using the right kind of caulk for your job, both color and type. The type of caulk being the most important thing. So you're going to always want to use a silicone caulking, and you're going to want to look for 100% silicone. Usually you'll see 100% waterproof. You need to look to find 100% silicone. That is the most important thing. in a wet area is that it has to be 100% silicone caulking. And then you got to figure out which color you want. So I've got white and then I've got clear for this project. And for your project, you might end up wanting to use a color caulk as well. Now I have white grout and a white shower insert, but then I do have the clear, which I'm going to put up against the metal here. Now, if you've got a colored grout, you can usually get color match caulk to match your grout. Nothing looks worse than having, say, a colored tile and maybe a gray grout and then a white corner because somebody used white caulking in the corner. And you never want to use clear caulking in the corner because a lot of times you end up with some big gaps like right there, and that's just going to show its ugly face if you use clear. You always want to use a colored caulking in your tiled corners. Tip number 5 to getting a beautiful caulk line when you're finished is cutting a nice tip on your tube. If you don't get a nice cut, you're not going to have a nice caulk line. So I always use a box knife, nice and fresh. Start small, you can always make it bigger, nice and clean. And then I like to round over just ever so gently, like a surgeon, round over the back side of that cut. Get a really nice application tip on your caulking. Do not ever use the cutter and that comes on your caulking gun. That'll just give it a disgusting cut. Tip number 6. This is where the magic happens. Glass cleaner. It has to be ammonia free and you have to be using 100% silicone caulking. And the way this works is that the silicone caulking will not stick to the glass cleaner. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down a beautiful looking bead of caulk as clean as we can, and before we touch it with our finger, we're going to cover it with glass cleaner. Then when we wipe it up, the caulking will not stick to anything except for what it's already stuck to, so it's not going to smear, and that glass cleaner is going to allow it to just wipe up and leave a beautiful looking caulk line when we're finished. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so the first part of getting a beautiful caulk line is just laying a nice, clean, even bead. Once I got a nice even bead, come back over with my glass cleaner. Give it a nice even coat. Grab a paper towel. And now you can use your finger to clean it up, and all that caulking comes off clean without smearing. Uncaulking a shower, buddy.
Oh, don't I come pop in?
You cannot get in right now.
I know I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I wipe it up with the towel, just on the edges. Try not to touch the caulking.
Yeah, it's okay.
And there it is. You can see the glass cleaner still stuck to it. But I got a beautiful caulking line in my corner. There's nothing more satisfying than a beautiful caulk line. So why don't we play some B-roll and just watch some satisfying caulk.